He's the Star Wars character we all know and love.
I love you.
I know.
Of course, I'm talking about the stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder known as Han Solo.
Who's scruffy looking?
In a seemingly endless sea of alien creatures, incredible worlds, and other amazing characters, Han is consistently the most captivating. No wonder Disney wanted to give him his own film. So let's make the jump to lightspeed, but make sure to fly casual, because this is Han Solo. The best parts.
Keep your distance though, Chewie, but don't look like you're trying to keep your distance. I don't know. Fly casual.
When we first meet Han, he's already the ultimate space cowboy. Sure, he's nothing but a scoundrel who only looks out for himself, but he manages to move through the galaxy with the ultimate space swagger. And some of the smoothest lines that make even the most badass princesses swoon.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel.
More on her in a second. His unassailable coolness is on full display right when we meet him in Mos Eisley. Greedo's blaster is in his face, and he slyly tries to de-escalate the situation like he's talking his way out of a parking ticket. As soon as he realizes his signature brand of diplomacy isn't getting him out of this little scrape, he pops a blaster cap in Greedo in the middle of this crowded bar, then throws a space quarter at the barkeep to irreverently apologize for the mess as he moseys out. Side note, I don't care what anyone says. Every good Star Wars purist knows Han shot first. But even with Han's trademark I don't give a crapitude, he still has an incessant need to ultimately do the right thing, especially when it comes to the people he cares about. Between his misadventures with his favorite foil, Luke, his eventual love interest, Leia, and his trusty furry sidekick, Chewie, Han spends most of his screen time in the first or fourth Star Wars film collecting quite an entourage of people to be emotionally attached to. Because at his core, Han is a good person who is constantly battling with his innate desire to protect people who ultimately become his family. It would have been easy for him to selfishly cut and run while he, Luke, and Obi-Wan get captured by the Empire, but he sticks with it. And after rescuing the princess, he makes an attempt to move on with his life, but his newfound devotion to the rebellion forces him to return, giving Luke the cover he needs to destroy the Death Star. But even with Han's goodness buried beneath his rough exterior, he still follows his moral compass in pretty reckless ways. He flies his trusty starship, the Millennium Falcon, through an asteroid field, even though the odds of successfully doing so are 3,720 to 1.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
He then hides out in a cave that ends up being the esophagus of a giant space slug. But the ultimate Han move has to be when he attacks a Star Destroyer in the Falcon just so he can attach himself to it to avoid their radar. Even Leia is impressed. Speaking of Leia, Han's relationship with the famed princess may be the greatest love story in the galaxy. At first, it appears their relationship gets off to a rocky start. Leia has absolutely no time for Han's bad habits, but his relentless swagger ultimately wins her over. And when Leia thinks she's talking to Han for the last time before he gets frozen in carbonite, she lets her guard down and confesses her love. But in one of Han's most notoriously perfect cool guy moves, he simply says, I know. However, Leia gets to flip the script on traditional gender roles and plays a vital role in rescuing the famed smuggler from Jabba's palace. And you can tell from their embrace that they'll never find a love this strong for the rest of their lives. The only relationship that may rival that of Han and Leia is the love between Han and his first mate, Chewbacca. These two clearly go back. I'm sure the film Solo will give us a better understanding of the origins behind this bromance.
190 years old? You look great.
But even with what we've seen, you can tell they have a history. They are both hopelessly devoted to each other, and in my humble opinion, there's nothing sadder than Chewie's reaction to the death of his best friend. Even though we probably won't see Harrison Ford's Han Solo on the big screen ever again, the role he plays for the Rebels cannot be overstated. His brashness doesn't just give them the edge they need to defeat the evil Empire.
Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker.
Then I'll see you in hell.
He also makes the other main characters better, which really is the best part of Han Solo. He's the ultimate anti-hero. In this light side, dark side world, he brings a touch of gray. He shows the generals, Jedis, and princesses of the galaxy that you don't have to do everything by the book to succeed. And for all of us, his initial skepticism of the Force and everything Luke is fighting for makes this fantastic story seem real and brings it down to earth, which, to me, proves that Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars without Han Solo.
I got a bad feeling about this.
What are your favorite Han Solo moments? Hit the comments and let us know what makes Han the greatest anti-hero in the observable universe. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we'll be back here every week talking about all of our favorite stuff and the best parts. Thanks for watching.